one of the big things, obviously, is the wildfires in the Los Angeles, California area. Obviously, I don't think we probably are very likely to have any people in the area that watch this, but obviously, if you do, or if anybody watches and you have loved ones there, I mean, really hope everybody's doing okay. There are some deaths that have come out of the area. But an insane amount of evacuations, triple digits. I mean, 180,000 people. That's pretty wild. I didn't know what this clip was. This was just something from fairly recent, within the last day or two. And so I figured it was relatively current. So we'll just go ahead and watch this real quick.
Here's a live look at the fires continuing to burn through Los Angeles County in California. At least 11 people have been killed and at least 180,000 forced to evacuate, with authorities expecting the death toll to increase. Over 100,000 residents remain under evacuation orders in the Palisades, Eaton, Hearst, Kenneth, and Lydia fires, according to the Los Angeles County Sheriff. Firefighters continue to battle the wildfires spread across the Los Angeles area. The largest, the Palisades fire, has now scorched over 21,000 acres and destroyed thousands of structures.
Never in a million years would we think that a fire would come down and completely destroy not just this neighborhood, but half or more of the entire Pacific Palisades. It's devastating. It's surreal. It's hard to put into words.
In Washington, President Biden pledging to pay for 100% of the state's immediate costs for the next 180 days.
We're about to watch this Trump clip. I mean, he's repeatedly blamed Gavin Newsom, the mayor of Los Angeles as well. I don't know her name off the top of my head. But Trump has repeatedly blamed California leadership for these fires or for how bad they are, claiming insane things like that they didn't request or get enough water somehow, just batshit things, and while a bunch of MAGA people would love to just get in the weeds and try and fucking sleuth their way through different California budget decisions or whatever, and they want to try and blame things like DEI the LGBTQ community. Just ridiculous, obviously, like just bullshit claims. They want to try and claim these things have some sort of effect, have somehow caused the fires to happen, or have somehow prevented resources from being able to combat the fires, so on and so forth, right? There's all sorts of crazy claims. Trump is obviously, he's fueling a lot of these claims. And the scary thing is him wanting to being quick to blame the leadership of the state, while there's zero evidence indicating that that's even remotely true. I mean, it's pretty obvious that if you're in Gavin Newsom's position, your concern is going to be that if there are more wildfires when Trump is president, that there's a good chance you're not going to get any aid from the federal government, or that the concern that you wouldn't get aid from the federal government is much higher under Trump than it is under the Biden administration. I would like to point out that states like Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, very deeply red states for the most part, that have also suffered natural disasters in the last few years. None of these states have had to worry about the Biden administration not sending them aid and
Yeah.
covering the state's costs to rebuild and things of that nature. Only Republicans would do something so disgusting as not support people in a natural disaster to fucking try and score political points. There's almost nothing. It's hard. I know Trump does a lot of fucking awful shit, but this is one of the most egregiously just awful things that he engages in, is that he is so wound up in his own fucking ego that he chooses a time where people are being killed, where people are having to evacuate, where their homes and their communities are being destroyed by something that is not, it's not some fucking big ass laser being wielded by Newsom himself that he's just oopsie blasting California homes away left and right. Sure, if something really that crazy and stupid happened, Trump would have a good fucking point to be like, hey, maybe that guy shouldn't be like shooting the laser around. That's a bad idea, right? No, it's just it's just a thing that happens. From what I've been hearing, there might be a handful of these fires that have been caused by people, but most of them are just naturally spreading, because if you look at if you look at the situation for what it really is, which is that they've been seeing 70 plus mile an hour winds, hurricane force winds, with gusts up to 100 miles an hour, that's gonna carry a lot of heat, a lot of ember, a lot of flame really far, really fast. The air is dry, which is beautiful for fire to spread in terms of what fire wants, not what obviously people fucking want. Maybe Donald Trump wants it. But this is just happening because it happens. And their climate is unfortunately just the right conditions for the fire to spread as fast and as as destructively so as it is. And for Trump to not even be inquisitive enough of a human being to try and, because this is the thing. He's not even trying to look at it from that perspective, right? If he were trying to look at it from that perspective, he would value factual information. But because he wants to make this about himself, or rather make it a way to disparage his quote unquote political enemies, he's going to just spout whatever the fuck he feels about it. That makes it to where they're doing something wrong. I'm calling it out. If they weren't doing this wrong thing, the fire would not be a problem. It would be under control. Yeah. If Trump were, say, governor of California, I think he would be doing the same exact thing. He would be blaming the mayor, maybe the county leadership, maybe still the LGBTQ, or maybe immigration. He would probably be blaming immigration a lot if he was the governor. And not just becoming the president. But it's horrible. So I've got this video queued up. We'll watch some of the claims. There's gonna be like a quick highlight here. And man, imagine just standing up here and being with this fuck as he says this nasty, awful shit. Fuckers like Tom Cotton and JD Vance, they don't care. They don't care what comes out of his mouth. But I'm like, who are you, and why aren't you fucking, why don't you have more respect for yourself than to be standing next to this douchebag?
Well, it's very sad, because I've been trying to get Gavin Newsom to allow water to come. You'd have tremendous water up there. They send it out to the Pacific because they're trying to protect a tiny little fish, which is in other areas, by the way, called the smelt. And for the sake of the smelt, they have no water. They had no water in the fire hydrant.
This little fucker's grinning, dude.
Today in Los Angeles, it was a terrible thing.
Yeah.
And we're going to get that done. It's going to finally be done. I got it done from the federal side, and he didn't want to sign it, but it's not going to happen again like that. There's no reason. Can you imagine? You have farmers that don't have any water in California. They have plenty of water. They don't have a drought. They send it out to the Pacific, and it's crazy. So what's happening in California is a true tragedy. I know those areas very well. I have many friends living in those houses. That is a true tragedy. Nobody ever thought. I mean, virtually Beverly Hills and areas around Beverly Hills are being decimated. The biggest homes, some of the most valuable homes in the world are just destroyed. I don't even know. You talk about a tax base. If those people leave, you're going to lose half your tax base of California. This is a true tragedy, and it's a mistake of the governor, and you could say the administration. They don't have any water. They didn't have water in the fire hydrants. They don't have water. And yet they have, the water comes from, where? Up north. And it comes down at levels, they give millions and millions of barrels of gallons of water that they have, and they send it out into the Pacific. For the Pacific, it's like a drop, it's nothing. But for California, it would take care of the whole state. So what's happened is a tragedy, and the governor has not done a good job. With that being said, I got along well with him. when he was governor, we worked together very well, and we would work together. I guess it looks like we're going to be the one having to rebuild it. But what happened there, I don't think there's anything that I've ever seen quite like it. And the insurance companies are going to have a big problem, because you're talking about big, big dollars.
Would you consider retaliating to California?
So yeah, while he said that him and the governor would work together, he doesn't include the firm statement that the federal government would provide aid, right? It's the non-committal to providing aid that sort of gives me, and I imagine gives Gavin Newsom some pause for concern there.
He's just amount of nonsense. Good Lord.
He just, yeah, it's word vomit of lies, just word vomit of lies and lies and lies and lies. In a lot of ways, very hard to watch. Very frustrating for sure.
Goddamn fish.
Yeah. So I'm gonna look here. This is the fact check on this. Donald Trump claimed that Gavin Newsom had refused to sign a declaration that would have allowed water to flow from Northern California into the affected areas to protect an essentially worthless fish. But water policy experts told us there's no connection between state water regulations or water flowing from the north and the ability to fight the fire. Trump made the inaccurate claim that there were no firefighting planes. I hate this fucking guy. Being used. Those aircraft were temporarily grounded the night of January 7th due to very high winds, but were back in use early the next day. So yeah, I would love to see Trump fly like a little bitty fucking Cessna in like 100-mile-an-hour crosswinds. Stupid fuck. Yeah, go try it there, fucking ace pilot fucking... Oh my god. His claim that there was... Go ahead.
Can we just like trick him and just attack his pride to the point that he actually jumps in a plane and just crashes the damn thing?
Oh man, I mean...
Lord. He probably would fall for it. He probably would.
I was going to say, how many Twitter polls do you have to create? Like, should President Trump fly a water plane over California?
Yeah, you know how those planes like scoop up water out of the ocean and
it's very I've watched a video. It's been a while, but yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, very cool. Super dangerous, by the way. So
yes, yes.
You know how much skill it takes to like land in the ocean just enough to like scoop up some water?
Well, if you push it too far, your whole plane is
underwater,
rapidly disassembling itself, as Elon Musk's rocket company would say. Your plane is rapidly disassembling itself in the Pacific Ocean. With
Lord.
You in it, so not a good situation.
Yeah.
So so he lied, and obviously these statements weren't all in the video that we watched, but these are just the collective. As of January 10th, he's lied a lot more since then, I'm sure. But as of January 10th, this is the bullshit he had spouted. There were no water in the fire hydrants to fight fires is not the whole story. Local public works said that a lack of water pressure due to high water consumption made it difficult to get water to some fire hydrants in the higher regions of the Pacific Palisades. So as what I had heard as well from someone who lives in the area, from Hutch, he's in the Los Angeles area, and he was seeing that firefighters were also stating that the demand for the water has far exceeded what they had in the supply that they had, and apparently about a week or two before this, they had made sure that all their like firefighting water reserves were topped off. So the fact that if you see any claims from Trump that they didn't have enough water in the first place, that's just bullshit. That's a lie. They had as much as they could hold on to. So Trump also wrongly claimed Biden had left the FEMA with no money in its emergency funds to provide federal assistance. FEMA themselves has said that there's about $27 billion in its disaster relief fund. $27 billion at FEMA goes a long way everywhere. $1 billion would go a long way in this situation, right? For at least a couple days, that would do a lot.
Hey, Trump, you're friends with Elon Musk, and he could cover that bill. Let him cover the bill. Don't let FEMA do it. Come on. Do the right thing. Take the high road here. Tell Musk, hey, let's score some political points. How about you pay for all the disaster?
Yeah, that would do a lot for him. That would do a lot for him. It really would.
Right. Musk wouldn't agree to that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No. Just let one of his companies. I don't know if you're gonna try to get, water from a rocket that flies by at like Mach 3. That might be kind of tough. Or if you're gonna try to have the boring company just dig a tunnel under the fire. See, that might be the play there, dude. Is just have the company that did the stupid, ridiculous, idiotic Las Vegas tunnel system, just have them bury themselves in a fiery tomb.
Jesus Christ.
And simultaneously put out the California wildfires. There you go, Elon. You lose a bunch of your overhead. You don't have to pay those people anymore. You sick fuck.
Look, man, it's only $27 billion. That's a drop in the bucket for you.
That's true. That's true. Elon's like, I could do it for like, just pay me $800 million, and I'll have the boring company go sacrifice themselves in the name of
Jesus Christ.
President Trump. Jesus. Let's see. Okay. So 27 billion, and that looks from a recent infusion from Congress. That's the continuing resolution, isn't it? That Trump tried to kill.
Oh yeah.
So Trump would have been. He would have literally, if there was no money in there, it would have literally been because of him.
It's his fault.
I didn't even see that before I pulled this article up, bro.
Oh
my
no.
fucking God. Let's see if there's more here. Oh, the thing about smelt. State officials have said that there's no such declaration, and water policy experts told us that there's no connection between water flowing. Okay, yeah, we read that. The availability of water for fighting the fires had nothing to do with water supply from Northern California. A hydroclimatologist, an expert, people. This is an expert, MAGA. This is a person who knows things. This really
that's
big
their
long
job.
word.
Their entire life is dedicated to this.
Big long word you couldn't say if you tried 15 fucking times. Hydroclimatologist. That's that word. Hydro meaning water. Climate referring to what the weather does and things. And then ologist refers to them being a scientist. So it's really 3 words, you fucking ignorant fucks. And co-founder of the Pacific Institute, a California nonpartisan, look at that, research and policy group, told us in a phone interview. There's plenty of water in Southern California. In fact, the reservoirs in Southern California are more full than they normally are for this time of year. So the fire is just that demanding because it's been carried by 90+ mile-an-hour winds. Fucking just think about it for more than 2 seconds, guys. Think about it for more than 2 seconds. Trump is a liar. Hey, he's also an idiot.
Stupid fucking Kansas with his rows of corn or whatever the fuck they grow there probably will never experience a fire with 100-mile-per-hour winds blowing it across this field. All right.
If they do experience high winds, it's in the winter, like when yeah.
Like you have no idea how devastating this is. And in case of you dumb motherfuckers that don't know, fire requires oxygen to burn. And whenever you have 100-mile-per-hour winds, the fire is getting lots of oxygen, so it's getting really, really hot and really, really big. Like, just basic science there for you people.
It's not only moving the fire, it's simultaneously feeding it.
Yeah,
that's legitimately true. That's legitimately
hotter and stronger. Yeah. It literally is doing that.
Then how come when I blow out a candle? First off, that's carbon dioxide. You breathe that out when you breathe out. Checkmate, dumbass. Like that. I just knew. If someone ever heard that argument, well, then how come when I blow out a candle, it blows out, and it doesn't set my kitchen on fire or whatever? It's like, well, yeah.
Plus, also the amount of force that you're blowing with to that tiny little flame does it. Jesus Christ, there's a bunch of factors here.
Right. Okay. So the water transfer thing from the northern end of the state, that's just dumb. It's bullshit. Okay. A Trump-Vance transition spokesperson, so not even Trump himself, referred to a lawsuit by California over a Trump February 2020 memorandum to deliver more water to the Central Valley in California. This was part of a plan to divert large amounts of water from the San Francisco Bay Delta in Northern California to the Central Valley to irrigate farms. Because, yeah, I remember hearing about that a lot. You have like a lot of like, what is it that they grow? What's that? What's the nut? Is it almond? There's a lot of almonds being grown in California, and those things require an absurd amount of water to grow.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was to try and support industries like that. The state filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration claiming the plan failed to protect endangered fish species, including the Delta smelt. That's a fish species, and the Chinook salmon. Griner said that although water is always diverted to the Central Valley in Southern California, it's just a question of how much to divert while still leaving water in the river for the fish and other environmental issues. So yeah, I mean, that's not hard to understand, right? There are vital ecosystems, and I'm sure that these fish serve some sort of environmental purpose, and that would make sense. To not just let a fucking entire species of fish die just to grow fucking almonds. So you know,
Yeah.
that makes total sense. In his January, and it doesn't really affect the Southern California supply of firefighting water. That's what they're outlining here, is that it doesn't even matter if they had taken, you know, if they had, say, withheld more water from traveling to the southern part of the state.
Yeah.
So yeah, he said that they didn't, this was the specific claim. He said that water was sent to the Pacific Ocean to protect smelt, typically a 2 to 3 inch fish. They're tiny little fish that only lives in the San Francisco estuary. They send it out into the Pacific because they're trying to protect a tiny little fish. That's what he said. Okay, we know the quote. Shoving water out to sea in 2016 to protect it. Okay. Man, he's really bothered that fish's only 3 inches. just saying. I think Obama made a good point at the Democratic National Convention.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
He got him real good there.
Yeah, he did. He read him like a fucking book.
Oh,
These
man,
water regulations don't have anything to do with fire hydrants in the Pacific Palisades going dry. So 2 experts confirm that they're totally unrelated. Most of the water that Los Angeles gets doesn't come from the area where the Delta smelt lives, but from the Colorado River, the Owens Valley, and from local groundwater resources. Boom. So unless they want to allege that these nonpartisan experts are liars for no reason, which, you know, hey, don't get me, I was gonna say, I wouldn't put anything past MAGA. They would claim anything. They'd be like, well,
No,
this
they're just
person,
that predictable.
yeah, it's
yeah.
kind of wild. They would say, well, this person's related to Hillary Clinton, even though there's like 0 evidence of that, or something. I don't know, just some stupid shit. We pretty much know. The rest of those are just bullshit, and they're debunked.